and delighted to say we're back for another episode of Being Human. We're here with Daniel Zavrel, an extremely interesting man who I have got to know a little bit before he came on the show. He's the co-founder of a company called Conscious. He's a vitality, well-being, and mental coach, and he has got this fascinating technology, Biofield technology, which we're going to have a look at today. So for any of you out there who are seeking to improve your vitality or your well-being or your overall performance in life and are up for exploring something novel and extremely powerful, then this is the episode with you. It's been used with elite athletes, top-level businessmen, and really fascinating to get into it. It's multi-dimensional non-linear spectrography. I think I got that right. That's the basis of the technology. So for anybody with a technology bent, there could be a lot for you to get your teeth into here. Daniel's, like me, a former management consultant. He's had a winding path to where he's at now. And so with great pleasure, I welcome you to the show, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Richard. I'm really, really excited to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. So we are going to dive in. This is going to be a session dedicated to us exploring this wonderful technology that you're offering to the world. But before we do so, could you give us a little bit of your background and how you found yourself doing what you're now doing?
Sure. So I started off as a business economist from the Erasmus University in Rotterdam. And my first job was with Accenture, a large consulting firm, I think still the largest consulting firm in the world. Yeah, I was a change management consultant, but my first job, I was somewhere in the basement of the tax advisory department from the Netherlands, no windows. And actually the kind of work was really not my thing. I did it because the salary was good at that time. That was important. I was the first of my friends who had this great job, and so actually, as a young boy, I already looked to the stars and thought to myself, "What's the meaning of life? Is there life after death? Is there alien life?" So all these kind of more philosophical questions I found much more interesting. And then I made the switch to a company which was developed by Ronald Jan Heijn. He was the son of the founder of the Ahold concern, which is a big multinational in the Netherlands with all kinds of supermarkets. The Albert Heijn here in the Netherlands is very famous. And unfortunately, his dad was kidnapped and was killed in the kidnapping. And so he inherited like 60 million guilders. And he started this huge spiritual center in the middle of Amsterdam, opposite of Central Station. And then I became a manager of OEBBO Business. So to bring spirituality to businesses. And that's actually what I'm still doing mostly. Although I also, I'm very passionate now to private people, also with the scan, which we will experience. But my basis actually is, business spirituality for large corporations.
Wow. Yeah. What a journey. It somewhat mirrors my own, really. I think from although and I still work a lot with businesses, but came to a realization some time ago that there's more to life than the skin suit, and there's great power and value in exploring what lies beyond. Okay, so the ConsciouzScan technology, that's going to be the centerpiece. That's going to be the real the star guest of our podcast today. So tell us a little bit about this technology that we're going to explore before we fire it up and get into this.
Yeah, it's kind of an exciting story in itself. I will keep it very short, but the first steps in this technology were for elite troops for the US Army, like for Navy SEALs. But in that time was in the Cold War with espionage, counter-espionage. The Russians actually took it on larger and better in like 14 cities with Moscow as the head capital. And they actually also developed it for the cosmonauts because it was very costly, for example, to get a cosmonaut out of space with a stomach ulcer. So they wanted a technology which was quite revolutionary already in that time, which could already see if the bioenergy field, which is in and around us, was already changing and a certain lifestyle materializing slowly, for example, and also to prevent that, so that they could already redefine the lifestyle, the nutrition, the psycho-emotional patterns of this cosmonaut before getting an illness. And so it was a billions project. I think it will be very hard to do this all over, because in the time of the Soviet Union, they could just go to a hospital full with, for example, liver patients and measure everything, and then from kidneys. And they did it with huge also questionnaires, the psycho-emotional patterns, Jungian psychology and everything. And so this huge team with billions of costs came in the end to this technology. And then at the end of the Cold War, when the walls went down in Russia, the technology came to Germany, to Hamburg. And there the Germans medically certified it. So it's also a medically certified technology. And they made it a very further thorough technology. And so this is the technology I'm working with right now for ConsciouzScan. And ConsciouzScan, and the name is, we scan the whole body and mind in the smallest detail. And like you see all the organs, and we can see where there is balance, where there is stress. We look at personalized nutrition. We look, for example, is there electrosmog? What are all kinds of reasons of distress in the body to make you conscious and to make better choices. And that's where the name ConsciouzScan comes from. And so I also educate ConsciouzScan coaches, because that's the method, ConsciouzScan coaching with this technology.
Okay. And does it also provide, so there's the consciousness element of it, and as I said, you're going to do it on me, so I'm going to be the guinea pig for this session, which I'm feeling slightly nervous about, but also excited to see what I learn. Is there any aspect of healing the biofield, or is it just the scanning?
No, it's also healing. For example, I don't know if you see this little chip here.
Okay, yeah.
There's actually no electronics in it. But we can also do what we call smart balancing, where we send the healthy frequencies of, for example, a disturbed organ to the client. And this is very powerful. We can also deposit all kinds of frequencies on a chip or on water. Then you take it in, for example, as a homeopathic remedy, or directly like this. So there are there's also audio files from Dr. Rife, but also it's very fascinating. Have you ever heard from Professor Garyayev?
Yes, I've heard him mentioned, yes. We've had a few guests, I think, who mentioned him, yeah.
Yeah, he has done studies in so-called wave genetics. And they found out, actually, together with Professor Fritz Albert Popp from Germany, that our deepest communication in the body is not the fastest, is not the blood, it's not the nervous speed, but actually we communicate with the speed of light. So we are one kind of Wi-Fi station where all organs talk with each other with the speed of light. And they couldn't explain this before, because, for example, we sit here, I had lunch, that means that trillions of processes are going on in our body right now. And they couldn't explain it with the speed of the blood flow or with the nervous speed, which is quite high already. And so then this professor came up and said, hey, the most subtle communication is with biophotons. So every cell emits and receives light frequency. So the heart talks with the brain talks with the heart and with the liver and the stomach. So everything talks to each other on a certain frequency. And like you have all kind of radio frequencies going all through us right now, and Wi-Fi and 3G and 4G and 5G, same in the body. And in these 50 years of research, they really recorded all these frequencies. For example, the liver is on 4.8 hertz. The brain is on 8.2 hertz. The bones on 1.8, and so on. And so this Professor Garyayev, he went even further until the DNA level. And that's what he called wave genetics. That disturbances also go until the genes, which Dr. Bruce Lipton called the epigenetics. So thoughts, food, and so in epigenetics, it's already known that every piece of food you take today works on for 7 generations in your epigenome.
Wow.
So you have your genome, which is fixed. For example, my blue eyes, I cannot change in this life. But the expression of my genes, like for example, they have 2 twins with the same genome, and one pair of the twins is very healthy, like paprika in the evening and orange juice or whatever, and the other part is chips and cola. And then you see the epigenome, the expression of the genome, really altering and maybe expressing in a dis-ease for the unhealthy half of the twins. And they've done so many studies, and this is a very known already mainstream science, the epigenetics, which is also in this technology. And then we can make audio files based on this Professor Garyaev, who was a nominee for the Nobel Prize of Medicine in 2021. But like 2 months before the decision who would win it, he unfortunately passed away. So he was never able. Otherwise, everybody said he would definitely have won the Nobel Prize. And his findings are in the bioregulation module. So we can make audio files on the DNA level also to harmonize. So long answer, but to be short, we can also send healing frequencies.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And I'm going to look this guy up. I'm sure I've heard him mentioned before. Garyaev. How do I spell that? Yeah,
it's Gareev. Garyaev.
Garyaev. Okay. Yeah, I've got a feeling it was he. He was the guy. Was he the guy who messed around with like shifting fundamental gene expression at the embryonic level and having like an embryo develop into a different type of organism?
So. I think that he was also engaged with that. Yeah.
That's really
brilliant
really
scientist.
Yeah. Okay. So the ConsciouzScan technology, you've got it set up for me. I can feel like I'm crossing my arms. I can feel my nervousness already. So we're now in a position where we could demonstrate this to the viewers.
Absolutely. So there's one more thing I have to explain to the viewers. Like we're going to measure you with your photo.
Yes.
And this is for many viewers, like, how is this possible? So I will first explain the more known and safe way. So we're going to measure you with the cell analysis box. This is this device. It's connected to the technology, which is here beside me. But this was developed during the COVID period in Germany, where doctors couldn't see their clients and therapists. So they developed this device so that they could scan people on a distance online. And it's medically certified if you use a piece of hair, nail, blood, or urine. So I never use blood or urine. But if people really find it so important that it's medically certified, then they send me a piece of hair or nail. But because I live in Spain, and for example, when I coach somebody in the Netherlands, they prefer to send photos because it's exactly the same accuracy. I've tested thousands of scans. And it's the principles of quantum physics here, which are at play. So we are all energy. And a photo is just a more subtle form of energy. I think most of your viewers, I've seen some podcasts of you, a very conscious public. It's a more subtle form of energy. But like in acupuncture, in the ear, everything of the whole body is captured. And you can do ear acupuncture on the feet or on the liver or on the heart in only the ear. So every part of a body contains the whole. That's a hologram. And a photo, exactly the same. It's here in this photo, your whole energy field is captured. That's why the Indians were afraid in North America that their picture would be taken. They would always run away. Like they knew or intuitively that part of the essence would be captured, and it is. So if I roll this up and I put it in the cell analysis box, then I already have your data. The viewers didn't see that, but I have your address data, your blood group, your birth date, your name. So, and then this becomes like a QR code to your bioenergy field. And then with a very high accuracy. And the third method is that I scan you with the headphones here live. And that's when I see clients come to me. But for the accuracy of the scan, it's zero difference. And so that's why you're going to do it in this way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen now.
Yes, there I am with my avatar at the top. Yes.
Great. Okay, then I'm going to put your picture in the cell analysis box I just showed. So I will put it here on the camera that everybody can see it, so that the client always knows it's his or her photo. So now it's sealed. The energy of the information is there. And now I'm going to select the body and mind scan male here in this case. And then we will start the scan. And the scanning will start with the head. And when the head is scanned as first, I will shortly stop it to explain some symbols which we are seeing.
Okay, great. And Daniel, you've got a notification from StreamYard at the bottom. Should we just close that off?
Oh yeah, Faber, yeah. Like this, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what do we see now? So this is, your head is already being scanned. And what is being measured here is the entropy. That's a physical term of loss of energy and information. To explain it very simple, you're sitting in a house now. Most of the viewers are. If you will not do maintenance on that house in 1,000 years, it will become a ruin. And this is because all matter and energy has a natural loss of form and structure, energy and information. That's what they call entropy. And stress speeds up this entropy. And you have this from 1 to 6. This is the so-called Flindler scale. And just to bring it back very simple, we measure it as your stress load, at your current stress load. And so the yellow symbols here, I call it the little suns, is optimal bioregulation. So in the head here, there are quite some yellow symbols. And that means the bioregulation there is optimal. Then we have the triangles here, the orange ones. This is also very good, but it means there's a lot of energy usage, a lot of dynamic going on. It's also good. Then the reverse triangle here, this one. That's a light stress load. So there's a little stress present in the tissue there, which with the 5 symbols is more. There generally could also be reactions of the immune system active. And when we see this black square, like here with the number 6 in it, this means exhaustion, local exhaustion. And the good news is the body can always recuperate itself, restore itself by sleeping, resting, eating healthy, sporting, and so on. But at this moment, this point here is kind of exhausted. Then finally, we have... Sorry?
I said, okay, yeah, this is fascinating. Yeah. I didn't get much sleep over the weekend, so that I don't know how. Yeah, that would be my first question. Does this tend to be very much related to the present moment state, or is this more of a kind of an averaged state?
Good question. So these entropy symbols are more kind of actual, like 1, 2, 3, 4 days. The curves here in the right corner, I will come to in a minute. That's more kind of long term.
Yeah.
I will come to those in a second. And then so the last symbol here is the number 1 here. That means there's a lot of energy there, but it's passive. It's like restoring energy. It's like you have money on a bank account, but you've locked it. And you cannot enter the bank account because there's some kind of long-term interest on it, which you only get when it's like 2 years fixed or whatever. I mean, this means generally the tissue is restoring energy, recovering. Also, when we see a lot of ones on one place, it could also be a blockage. It could be a trauma, a psycho-emotional blockage, or physical blockage. And for example, when people have a lot of anger now and then, I see it in the gallbladder, suppressed anger, then you can see, for example, a lot of 1 values in that gallbladder. And then, for example, when they drink a lot of alcohol, there can be this anger explosion happening. So this is also the ones. So these are those ones. And then I will just bring a graph 1 sec. So with the curves, we have the blue curve and the red curve. And here you see 9 vertical lines. And can you see this table on screen in the camera?
Yeah, I can't read any of the words, but I can see
of
it.
course, I understand. But this is the result of this 50-year research where every tissue, every organ operates just as explained on a certain frequency.
I see.
And those
Yes.
frequencies you can see here, like 1.8 hertz, the bones and the skin, for example. Here's the central nervous system, the brain. Here's the liver and the gallbladder, and so on. And now, the blue line means your income of energy. So what's your income of energy? Is sleeping, is breathing, is positive thinking, is good nutrition, and so on. So this is your income of energy. The red line is your expenditure of energy, like working, your digestion costs energy, negative thoughts, stress costs energy. And so a complete healthy organ doesn't have storage. It uses exactly as much energy as there is. That means that the blue line and the red line would be totally imbalanced with the blue on top of the red one. It's like 51% blue, the female part, and young is 49%, more the male part. That would mean total balance. But of course, for almost all of us, life is challenging, including me, with a big family and own company. So, of course, it takes a challenge to keep in balance. And that's why those totally balanced curves we don't see so often. There's always some kind of dynamics. Is it so far comprehensible for you, Richard?
Yes. No, it's making sense. So now I'm interested. So which of my organs are around the 3 hertz mark then? What's that likely to be where I've got my red line?
Good point. So where red is above blue, you expend more energy than you get energy in. So it's energy loss, or when it's very high above blue, we call it an energy leak. So 3.4 hertz are your muscles.
Okay.
Also the heart muscle, but generally also the skeleton muscles. And it's actually psycho-emotionally, that means focus. That you are being challenged to bring on more focus, because we are measuring the head here. And the head is about processing information and also the senses, like smelling, tasting, seeing, but generally also processing information. And when we see red above blue, means that you could lose energy on a lack of focus. I don't know if that applies
That does
to
make
you.
sense. Yeah, I am spinning a lot of balls right now. It could make a lot of sense for me to be more focused, for sure.
All right. Yeah. So then that would be a nice invitation to look at your work and your life and take your priorities. And before proceeding, because that's generally is also interesting for the viewers, I forgot to ask you, are there any stress sources in your life right now, Richard? And so, what would be your top 3? And what I mean with stress sources are events that deplete energy and especially deliver negative emotions. Like say, you would be in traffic every morning and it irritates you. Then the stress source is the traffic and the feeling is irritation. So if you reflect on your life, if you want to share it with us, of course.
No, I will. So yeah, I'm like you. I'm an entrepreneur, and when the months, when the bills are higher than the incoming, that's a definite that's a definite source of stress. So
Absolutely. And is it fear?
Fear.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a common emotion of indeed so many entrepreneurs, including me. It's recognizable, especially when you have a big family also. But in any case, so I understand this one. So that's the first one. Are there more?
Yeah, you're right. Now you've brought it to my attention. But focus. Yeah, again, being an entrepreneur, there's every day I'm making choices like where do I put it? Do I focus more on marketing? Is it more on sales? Is it more on improving my delivery? Is it what? Yeah, so I'm in a stressful pattern often of like what's the best way to spend my time, and then second guessing like did I spend when I have made a choice to devote to one of those activities, then second guessing, or maybe I should have done more of this or more of that.
Exactly. And what's the unpleasant feeling? Yeah? Because the definition of stress we use here in ConsciouzScan is actually from the HeartMath Institute. Is experiencing an unpleasant feeling. And that's actually the most simple definition of stress and also actually the most scientifically validated. So what's your lack of focus? What kind of unpleasant feeling does it bring with it?
Probably more fear, because it's more fear like if I'm not making the right choices, am I going to be successful?
Exactly. Understand that. Yeah. So this is the second one is focus. Is there a third one, private or work related?
Well, I suppose it's related again to being an entrepreneur, or like, am I spending enough time, especially with my kids, right? Like, am I making the right priority call? I want to have a thriving business so that I can provide for the family, but I don't want to spend so much time on a business. you know, I don't see them, and I don't enjoy time with them. So there's another tension I feel. Is
Yeah.
do I work late and then I miss my kids, but I get something done at work, or do I leave early and then drop a ball with, am I not nurturing the business enough?
Yeah. And how many kids do you have?
Two,
Two.
two,
And what
two
age?
children. They're both 8.
Well, it's a twin or not?
Yeah, twins, fraternal twins. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Girls or boys?
Boys.
Boys. All right. And what kind of unpleasant feeling does this work-life balance issue give you?
Another one, fear. But so
Yeah.
fear that I'm not being all I can be as a father, and they won't feel bonded to me,
Exactly.
or they won't be nurtured in the way they need to be nurtured.
Exactly. Understandable. Last question before we proceed with the scan. What's your, let's say, dot on the horizon? Where do you want to work? What would be an interesting, inspiring goal for you to achieve? Could be either work related or private related.
Yeah, a thriving business that uh, that still allows me lots of space and time to spend with my family and
Yeah,
enjoy life with my family.
exactly. And what's in this moment the hottest issue for not thrive to be for the business not to be totally thriving as you would like to have it?
Yeah, I'd like to have we're blessed with having some great clients, but we could have more clients than we are currently serving right now. So that would be the ideal state, to have more clients who want to work with us than we have capacity to work with. Basically, to have a queue would be
Yeah,
my
exactly.
ideal scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the main thing which might be lacking in your opinion of not having this queue of clients?
Mm, that's a great question. And one that I, I suppose effective marketing might be people knowing who we are, what we have to offer, and how it might help them, and them having enough confidence in what it is we could offer them, that they want to get in touch and they want to explore more about what we do.
Exactly. All right. Thanks so much for the context and also for your openness, Richard. Really appreciate that. So now we're continuing the scan. The scan itself takes only 1 minute. It's in English. Here you see what's being scanned. In this case, the head sagittal plane from the right side. So now automatically I will leave the scan. And when the scan is done, in about 1 minute, we take a deep dive and we go to the analysis of your body mind scan. Is that okay
Okay.
for you?
Yeah, brilliant.
All right, then we resume the scan.
This is fascinating how rapidly it progresses through the body.
Exactly. It's where these are these biophotons. It goes very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's not the limiting constraint, is it? It's the software doing the processing.
Yeah. The adrenal glands.
Yeah, this is testing my biology. I'm like, do I recognize this organ? Most of them I do, I think. I think
Yeah,
go with the
you can
spine.
also see here the spinal nerves,
Yeah.
nerves of the back. This is the autonomic nervous system, very important with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, the accelerator and the inner brake, which is quite tense for a lot of Western people, especially. And finally, you see the muscles. And the skeleton, vertebral column. All right, so for now, this is complete. If you would like to see other organs, and we can always select here all kind of other organs. So it's a very extended possibility if you would like to see some additional things. But we use a standard scan, and then depending on what we see or certain questions from the client, we can go deeper to certain organs. So now we have done your scan. So let's start at the beginning, at the head. As mentioned, the head is about how do you observe the world, the processing of information. And now the first thing, which is kind of remarkable, is the teeth here. And this could mean two things. And because I always say that the body is materialized mind. And that's actually also the psychosomatic sense, how the psyche works onto the body. Soma means body, and psyche, of course, the mind. So how the mind works in the body and where it does flow and where it doesn't flow. So my question to you is, generally, this could mean that you could show your teeth a little bit more and like be assertive. And it could be either you're too assertive or you might be a little bit more assertive. What's the first thing, if applicable, which comes to mind if you hear this?
I show my teeth. In fact, I had this feedback from a colleague of mine just last week that I could be more
show your
assertive.
teeth.
Yeah, no, that I could do it more.
Oh, that you could do it more.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens? So when, for example, you think, oh, now I should be take my space, or I should be assertive, and when you don't do it, the energy gets stuck, and so it doesn't flow, and then you see a higher entropy. And so this is how the body works, where the energy doesn't flow, it materializes, and like for a cosmonaut, it could become an ulcer, for example. It's the way of the body to make you conscious about psycho-emotional themes. But because in the end, it's all about consciousness growth, to grow as a soul, as a person. And so this could be something, and just like the common week, to get yourself a little bit aware of.
Yes.
The good news here is, for example, you are very optimistic at a person at this moment. This is what we call the atlas, is where the head rests on the vertebral column. And when we see a value of 2 here and 3 and 2, it means generally people at this stage have a positive outlook on life.
Yes.
Optimistic outlook. When we see, for example, a 5 or a 6 appearing, it could be that the person is in a difficult period where, he or she sees a lot of obstacles on the way. But this is a very good, positive mindset for you. Also, here I can see that you can enjoy little things very much. It's like the nose, to have a nose for something looks very good. And the only attention point here is exactly the focus again. And we can see it here when we look at this frequency. And that means some focus loss. And when we combine it with the prefrontal cortex, where decision-making is, where the decision-making generally is being processed, that's on a kind of high stress. And so, again, reimagining your priorities, what does give you energy, what can you delegate, is of high importance right now. And let me look into your brain directly. And that's actually good news let me look at the graph. So blue and the red one are very close. So that means generally, mentally, you are quite balanced. So you have a strong mental balance. At this moment, it's quite busy. And you see a lot of 4s and 1-5. And in the blood vessels in the brain, especially those here, there's some pressure because of the kind of lack of focus.
I see. Yeah.
Now, let's look into the registers here of all kind of explanatory databases to look at possible reasons of this balance. Now, we go to the diagnostic module. But the first thing I'm going to explain to viewers, I'm not a doctor, I'm a well-being coach, a vitality coach. So I'm not allowed to make diagnosis. But what we look at are tendencies of the mind, what the body is saying. So what we see here are 3 tendencies here now. And the most important one I see here is arterial hypertension. This is actually the pressure here in the arteries of the brain. Let me look if we take the arteries on itself here. So here you see the blood flow through the brain, through the arteries. And let me check. And there also we see the same indication. So that means that for you to come to focus, it would be very, very beneficial to deeply relax. And one of the things I found very effective for doing that is the body corpse pose from the yoga. I'm also the yoga teacher. Do you know that? That's called the Shavasana. That means
Shavasana. Yes, I do it. In fact, I was doing it just a few mornings ago. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's great. So, for those who have never heard about it, the Shavasana is being lying like a dead corpse on the ground. On a hard, not on your bed, but on a hard, for example, a tapestry is okay. And then you relax everything. You put your arms beside your body with palms up. You close your eyes. You relax the eyes. You relax the tongue, all muscles. Even you relax the skeleton. You let everything go and make it heavy to gravity, to the earth. And I've been coaching the CEO of Philips Netherlands. He had a very responsible job in a very difficult time. He also lost one of his sons. And his arteries were all 6s and red was high above blue. So he really didn't know how to relax. He was only and always on.
Yeah.
As are many executives.
Yes.
But this was quite extreme. You look like a monk compared to him. If I have to compare it. There's still a lot of pressure here, but it's like sunshine compared to him. But he did this body corpse, Shavasana, for 1 month. And because I said, I will scan you in 1 month again. And because generally I do 5 sessions of 1 hour. It's called a life scan journey or a mental scan journey or a vital scan journey. There are 3 journeys. And then after 1 month, there were still some 4s like these, but all the 5s and the 6s were gone. And the curves, there was a little bit red still above blue. So he was not there completely, but he had an improvement of about 80%. And so also for you, and to get rid of this arterial hypertension tendency, because it's not a diagnosis, this works very, very fast. What are other ways and which give you a very fast and deep recovery and relaxation, Richard?
Well, meditation. I mean, I do meditate twice a day.
Okay, and what kind of meditation is that?
At the moment, well, I do a mix of meditations. I sometimes do the oh, it's gone. Transcendental meditation with a mantra, and then the other form of meditation I use is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I do his morning and evening guided meditation. I do
Well,
those.
that's great. I would definitely say, I think if you didn't do that, I'm quite sure your picture would have shown much different. But the large thing now is to bring in focus, because so there is less reason to get this hypertension. And otherwise, it's like bringing water to the sea, as we say in the Netherlands, because you see very light. Just explain the numbers here for you and the viewers. If we see a number which is lower than 0.425, that means there's a probability, it's all mathematics, of 95% that this resonance is going on in your system. If we see a number between 0.425 and 0.750, then it's 86%. So there's a light tendency to neurasthenia. What's that? In extreme cases, which is absolutely not the case with you, and it could be like a rapid exhaustion or more rapid exhaustion and a little bit more reduced resilience, and diminished focus is part of a reduced resilience. In extreme cases, it could be like a burnout syndrome or depression, which is absolutely not the case for you, but it's kind of a warning light on the dashboard. So
Yeah.
How you could perceive it.
Okay, and that's interesting because as I asked you earlier, is this a short term or more of a long term thing? And because we've got a big bid that we're currently putting in for a very large piece of work, and so it's been one of those crunch weekends, like before the deadline and for the submission. But those lines you said, the red and the blue lines, are more long term. So obviously goes beyond just this weekend where I've had less sleep.
Okay, and the good news is here we see. I just chose this tendency. Then I go to entropy analysis. Then we can see how far in the body could it have been materialized. And so this is very, very subtle. It's only in the bioenergy field. If it's there, it's more on the electro subatomic level. This is on the cell level. This is on the organ tissue level, the organ level, and the organ system level. And if the thick line here would be on the end here, that means the whole body would have kind of feeling the consequences of it. So that's the good news. It's only a tendency right now, which you can redirect quite soon if you do the right and bring the right focus and do, for example, this extra relaxation.
So what this system is doing then, it's not just sort of measuring the field in one dimension, so to speak. It's able to measure it at different depths within the body.
Exactly, yeah, and different depths of possible materialization. But we still measure energy and information. It's so, for example, I would never use this for a cancer diagnosis. A, because I'm not a doctor, and B, because you also need an MRI scan for that. And it's very complementary. For example, in Germany, about 600 doctors, which are regularly schooled doctors, do work with this technology. But for cancer diagnosis, they do it together with an MRI. And because here we can see more the psycho-emotional causes, nutrition, all kinds of disbalances, but we cannot really see the definite diagnosis of cancer. This is actually one of the difficult things to diagnose. That's where the MRI is. For all other causes, this actually works quite good for those doctors.
Great.
Okay, so now let's go to the tissue types. That means we look now at all the tissues in your head. Everything which is green is in balance in your head. So that's almost everything. Again, only the cerebrum, that's the brain, which you already have seen because of the things of the hypertension tendency we just saw. But the good news is, and it's also very subtle as depicted as only small warning light again, everything else is green. So that's good. Now we're going to dive into your whole energy system. And so this is the rib cage. And there all the vital organs are depicted, like the lungs, the heart, the liver, part of the stomach, of the you see here the intestines. And this is also kind of an anatomy course. You see everything where I hover with. Yeah. So we see what's on the deeper level. Well, to be short, I just check here the curve because those are the most important ones. And there we see some red above blue, as you can see. That means there's some tiredness in your system. And you're not, because maybe of what you're saying, longer hours, the work-life balance. And so it's important for you to create more income sources of energy. Let's say if that would be a little bit more with the children, if that would be an income of energy for you, and then in your focus, this could be a higher source of priority. And the funny thing is, this will work through to your work as well. And because your heart will be more open, your energy will flourish, and you will attract more customers. We always think only one-dimensional, but life has about 11 dimensions. Yeah? And for example, if I do a life scan journey with people, I let my clients design their life on 11 areas, which is their vitality, their relationships, for example, with their spouse, their financial life, their career, their parenting, their emotional life, intellectual life, the experiences they want to have, and so on. And if you have more balance, for example, in the parenting dimension, it works totally true to the other dimensions, also career and financial life. And so sometimes, for example, in the Chinese philosophy, if you have an excellent relationship with your wife, it's one of the highest certainties for economic success. We in the West have a different mindset. We think, we have to work harder, get more targets. But now in East, love your wife more, have a better relationship with your family. And this energy is such a high frequency container. It will attract success much faster than anything else you can do. Wow. So it's a totally different mindset. So this is something I could advise you. Look, what is my 20%, which could deliver 80% of more energy income? That could be being with your children. It could also be like sporting more or go to the cinema, whatever. And that's only something you can meditate on and feel for yourself. The good news, when I look here at the lungs, it looks very good, all yellow ones. So there's a lot of life and acceptance in the lungs. I find the heart looks quite good here on one area, besides one area, which I will come to. And the processing of feelings is kind of a tension point. And the intestines is also processing feelings. And like the fear you were describing, sometimes it's good to go in it. Most people avoid fear. They drink or they smoke or they go out. But it's better to digest a feeling. And I can see here that the digestion of feelings, and what do I mean with it? Just go in it. Breathe through it. So, and really feel the fear. Look it in the eyes and feel it and breathe through it. It's an emotion, an energy in motion. And it reaches its peak. It delivers its message. And when you become conscious, you can let go of it and take measures. But most people avoid feelings. And this is really something because we are in such a hasty society. That's the only thing which is the highest issue here in this part. So it will also be an energy source for you to do that.
To feel my feelings.
Absolutely. To feel and to digest feelings. Is that comparable?
Well, the feeling I get, the digestion less so. Like And I have a wry smile. This is interesting because so much of my personal development work has been on exactly this, my ability to feel my feelings. So it's
Okay.
interesting. There's still work to be done, which is okay.
Well,
Yeah, the
sometimes,
digest piece is interesting.
yeah, sometimes then it's good news because then you know how to do it. And then the only thing is that at this time your body asks or invites you to apply it a little bit more. That's the only thing. And the
Yeah.
good news is you know how to do it, so that's easy. So then we go here also to tendencies in the body. Let's look what we could find here. Yeah, same thing. The hypertension tendency and some gastritis. There might be some gas forming in the stomach, which is also not very strong. And so let's look at the tissue types here. With green again is all imbalance. And there you see the sympathetic part of the nervous system. This is again the focus thing. This is the accelerator of the autonomic nervous system. We have the accelerator, the sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system, and we have the brake, the parasympathicus. And you use the sympathicus too much.
Right.
Again, means unwinding, right priority setting to get that balance. This is the highest income of energy for you now. I will we'll put everything in a report here, the main thing. So at the description. And the second one is we're going to look for your nutrition. On this is the tunica mucosa ventriculi. This is the tissue in the stomach. So one layer deeper in the stomach. So to get the proper foods, this will also give you a lot of energy. We will come to it here. So then I will just show you already. This is the stomach. And in a minute, I will go one layer deeper. And we will calculate personalized nutrition as I do for top supporters. And it's very interesting maybe to know also for the viewers who see this technology for the first time. I've applied this 4 years with PSV. I don't know if there are some football supporters. The Premier League, of course, is the major league, I think, now in the world. But in the Netherlands, we have the Eredivisie. Then we have PSV, Ajax, Feyenoord, AZ, which is like... now Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, the top four. And I coach for 4 years PSV, which is currently also on top of the league. And then we were 3 times Dutch champion. So I did a mental scan journey with all of these players. And there we also calculated nutrition 100% personalized. And there's, I don't know, another technology which is able to do that, because that's why PSV was also so satisfied with it. And before that, I did it with AZ, which is another top 4 club. And there we also won the cup. So it's I only saying this, that this is for nutrition, very accurate. So I will come to that in a minute, Richard. Now, let's go to your skeleton before going to the stomach. The skeleton is about your operational ability at the moment. And the feet, we can see here, also from the back view, how is your grounding? That's okay. I don't see 2s, but at least there are 3s. So it's quite okay-ish. There are some 4s here on the ground, on the heels, on the background. So I would advise you if the spring hits back, and do you have some grass in your house or not?
Well, this is funny because I ground myself. I mean, I've done podcast episodes on grounding. I'm very good at grounding. Like I'll get out and I'll be barefoot on the ground quite often. I have these leather moccasins I wear, which also ground me.
And
That's
also, like now in the winter?
Yeah, in the winters quite often, yeah.
All
Or
right.
I'll wear leather-soled shoes, which also, conductive. So
that's excellent. So then the only thing I would suggest is that you also visualize. This is also like roots going through your feet into the ground.
Yeah, that's something I don't do much. No.
And this is very, very strong in grounding. And also from your first chakra here, you visualize a strong cord which binds you to the core of the earth and the feet. Those 3 points. That's in the yoga very known. And because I also walk barefoot outside, but in addition, when you do this, I think grounding will speed up even faster. Nice. And as said, it's not a big issue for you. And there are all 3 values and only 2 4s. So I think that the physical grounding is already visible. But if you want to increase it, that could be an extra step. And for the rest, your skeleton, actually, I don't see 5 or 6 values. Is great. And red is slightly above blue. So only suggestion I could make is like for 2 weeks, sleep like a half an hour more. What's your bedtime now?
Yeah, I usually sleep. Actually, I usually sleep like half 9 till half 5 is the rhythm I try and stick to.
All right. Yeah. So I think you can already solve it if you choose, for example, to do this shavasana. And then I think this will be enough for the skeleton to have this extra relaxation possibility. Because, of course, our skeleton also needs recovery. It's a fundament of our body. All the organs, the tissue, the muscles all hang on this skeleton. All right.
Yeah. It's so interesting. It's so interesting, Daniel, because I did Shavasana for the first time in years. About 3 or 4 days ago.
Wow. Your intuition is excellent then.
I felt so good. I felt such a rush of energy afterwards. I was like, oh man, I'd forgotten how good you can feel after yoga. Because I'd been doing I'd been doing the gym for a long time, and then I was doing calisthenics. But I hadn't done yoga. And so this is confirmation I was on the right track. This is great.
Absolutely. And your body is intelligent. So if you listened to it, like something in your body told you to do the shavasana, and you did. And actually, if you really listen into your body, it's such a high intelligent form. So great that you did do that. So now we go to the stomach. And we saw one level deeper. So if I hover over this, and we see here we go to a stress point to the stomach body. And this is where the food enters the stomach. This is the upper layer. This is the muscles of the stomach. You see, the muscle is quite good. All good values. But here we see some 4 and 5 values. And so I'm going to look into, because nutrition is so important also for the whole digestion system. So this is also what we do for elite sports people and, of course, the corporate people. Then with one click, we have a calculation 100% personalized of your food.
And it's extraordinary, Daniel.
Yeah, in Germany, they already pay like 600 euros for this nutritionist. I don't ask so much but at all. But because it's so worthwhile. Absolutely. So there are 3 categories. In a green number, that's most suitable. Blue means neutral. And red means unsuitable. And let's start with that. The higher the number, it means the more heavier and the more like almost toxic it becomes for your body. So there are 2 things to gain instant energy if you would eat them. It's not, this doesn't say that you eat those. It's when you eat those, it will be detrimental for your energy. But salmon is very detrimental for your energy.
Wow. I love salmon.
You do? And how often do you eat it?
Not that often, but I do eat it on a fairly regular basis. I probably eat it every other week.
Yeah, then it becomes like 2 or 3 times a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, then if you do that, and then you see this reaction of the stomach of something which is almost toxic for you. For another person, it might be on top of the list. I literally had that one person was salmon, for example, or another nutrition was below the list. And then literally 1 hour later, I scanned somebody, it's on top of the list. It's personalized. It makes what makes balance with your measured frequency. It's all mathematics. Just to show you, for example, salmon has this frequency here, the dotted lines. Can you see them? The dotted lines? The straight lines is your measured frequency. And then that's spectrography. That's mathematics. How certain frequencies resonate or not. And in this way, the technology calculates the probability if it's good or it's bad for you. So the frequency of salmon is very bad for you at this stage. Might not be for a lifetime, but at least for like the coming 2 or 3 months. as is yogurt, for example.
I drink that stuff.
You drink yogurt.
No, I do. I eat a lot of yogurt. I eat buckets full of yogurt.
Yeah. So this will be a big winner for you as well. I have the same. I was eating Greek style yogurt because I love Greek style yogurt, and it got some really complaints in my intestines, and I hadn't scanned myself. Generally, I scan myself like two to three times per month, and also balance myself. But for one reason, I didn't scan myself for about 6 weeks, and I felt this unpleasant feeling in my stomach and in my gut. And then I scanned myself, and yogurt was almost the same position. And I left it out. And 2 weeks later, everything was back on track again. And because it has such a lowering frequency, in this case for you, on the bioresonance level, that you will gain so much more energy by not drinking it. And you could, for example, let me see if soy yogurt would be suitable for you. Let's check. I don't know. If that could be you see, for example, soy yogurt could be a good replacement for you.
Yeah.
Soybeans and soy yogurt, if you like it. If you don't like it.
So do you buy this idea that soy reduces testosterone in men? Do you think is that a myth? Or?
And there are a lot of stories about it. I've also seen the contrary. But what I have learned, Richard, and it's up to you to feel that for yourself, this technology doesn't count with sentiments or whatever. It only accounts what makes balance with your body at this moment. It might not be for your whole life, but it's absolutely for now, for let's say the coming month. And then I'm quite sure that soy yogurt will be a very positive thing for you to take now and will give you a lot of strength and energy. If you don't like it, of course, don't take it. But if you do like it, then it could be a very good choice for you.
Yeah.
But normal yogurt would be a very bad choice. So, and then what would be a very good choice? The lower the number to 0, the higher the probability. For example, dried cranberries would be like a total medicine. So if you would go like to a lifestyle, if there would exist a kind of a lifestyle drug company, then your doctor would have described dried cranberries and walnuts, for example. And you go to that drugstore and they deliver you the walnuts and the dried cranberries. And that's the best medicine you can have ever for you at this moment. So all these like top things like warm potatoes, not cold potatoes, so not out of the fridge, warm potatoes, it's a different energy. Almonds, beetroot, tofu, artichoke, and so on. These are all superfood. And then the superfood of superfoods for you are those two. If you use sweetener, of course, not too much, because to also, it's when you need a sweetener, you use, in your case, agave syrup.
Yeah, I love agave. Yeah, I haven't had it for years, but yeah, I love it.
All right. And then we can also filter, for example, that's how you also receive your report, like fruits, vegetables, meat, and walnuts. For example, if I filter now the vegetables parts only, this is how you get it in your report. And these are all beneficial vegetables. The blue ones means, for example, if you take avocado, of course, there are a lot of omega-3s, oils in it. So it's vitamins, minerals, but energetically, it's not such a superfood for you to take as, for example, artichoke or spinach or potatoes. But it's neutral, so you can have it. You will get all the micronutrients.
So that means I can have chips, Daniel. Warm potatoes, chips. Do they count?
Chips.
Yeah, not the American English. I mean the British English.
Yeah, if they are, warm,
French fries.
and if they are pure. But of course, when it depends on how it's prepared. If it's like with a lot of oil, then what kind of oil do you use? For example, we also have the oil types here. So if you would prepare them in an oil, let's say, if you can see the oils here for you. Here, the oils. For example, if you would produce, these are beneficial oils for you.
Yeah.
Like for example, corn oil, if it's biological, if you would prepare the chips in that's okay because the potatoes are good for you and this corn oil as well. But if you make it too hot, of course, something happens with oil. So still, then I would use a preparation where you need only a very little oil of no oil. We have such a device, which is, I don't know if you know, the grill, which also almost doesn't need any oil.
Yeah, the air
And
fryer.
then chips could be very beneficial, and because it's warm potatoes. All right, so these are this is your nutritionist, and then let's go a little bit further. We also look into nutrients here. First, I'm going to look to food sensitivities. So there are two food lists. The one you just saw with the green, blue, and red. This is a list of food sensitivities where your stomach and your digestion system could react quite heavy to. So then we use this virtual model, which calculates the most important ones. There are 3 ones which you should be careful with: mango, wheat, and rye flour. So that means there are some biogene amines in that nutrition, for example, here moderately tolerable, rich in salicylates, and those salicylates are kind of harmful for you, as are, for example, the gluten in the wheat, and this kind of FODMAP load in rye flour. So those 3, I will put them in your report, you have to be careful with. And just to explain, for example, if mango would be in green on your other nutrition list, I don't know, I can check mango there.
Well, I saw walnuts were good for me in the other list. So that's interesting.
That's what I'm trying to explain now.
Yeah.
Let's check mango here. So mango is neutral in this list. If it was green, that means there are a lot of things which are good, especially energetically for you in mango. Neutral means you can absolutely have it. But let's say now it's also in the other list of sensitivities. It means there are also some ingredients in it which are not beneficial for you or even detrimental. And then the advice is not to take it.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, no, I'm getting it. Yeah. So it may be good for me on one level, but because it contains certain elements,
yeah.
then it's
then this list wins.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Now we go to nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. 1 sec. To go back here because I had to put 2 more things in your report. I have to put this one in your report and the rye flour. Just to be sure.
I'm quite sad about that. I love my rye bread.
You love what?
I love rye bread. So I'm a little sad about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the good news is you will not die from it, but it's don't take it too frequently. I always follow the 80-20 rule. So if your basis is for 80% very good and healthy, then you can freewheel a little bit more in the other 20%. And for top sport people, like for example, for those pace players, I say 98%, 2%, because they really need Formula 1 nutrition, so to say. Okay, now let's check the vitamins and minerals, nutritions, which might be beneficial for you. And there's actually only one. The other ones are not depicted. It's only vitamin B12, which could be, if you would take it, very beneficial for you. Or if you already take it, to take it in higher doses. Do you already use vitamin B12?
Occasionally, not really religiously, no.
Okay, then my advice would be, based on this scan outcome, to look if you can buy it somewhere online or in local.
We actually have some in the kitchen. I just don't always take it.
Oh, excellent! If you have it in the kitchen, even better. And then for the coming month, take it every day or even 6 weeks. And this also will give you very fast energy.
Brilliant.
And the second one, although it's not in the virtual model, I will also take it with you because it's so important, is iron. And one of the secrets with iron is that you also need, it's not depicted there, copper. Because when you have not enough copper, you will not take enough iron. And iron, of course, transports oxygen, and that gives you energy in the end as well. So I would also check for iron and copper, and that's it. Those
Brilliant.
are the main ones for you.
Excellent.
Now, let's look at where we see one of the most energy loss in your body, and that's actually in the pancreas. And it's one-on-one related with your stress sources of fear. The pancreas is very sensitive for the emotion fear, and especially fear for the future. Yeah. So the pancreas is very sensitive to stress, and also especially fear for the future and sorrow. Because also it makes insulin to get the glucose into the cells. And that's the triangle of stress: adrenaline, insulin, glucose. And so and this of course unconsciously, when you fear, hey, will I earn enough money at the end of the month? And that thought triggers a stress reaction in your body. And also, then you need, and then you make adrenaline. You need, it's like your body thinks, hey, there's a tiger walking beside me. I need energy. So you need insulin to get glucose into your cells. And if that triangle of stress becomes kind of ongoing, because you think about this thought so much, then it can deplete your pancreas. The good news is there's no tendency to, let's say diabetes. It says a very low number or other disbalances of the pancreas. So that's the good news. And let's see what possible emotions might be behind it, because he also did 20 years of research to psycho-emotional patterns, because every emotion also has a frequency. So let's check. So there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main ones, which could cause the pancreas to lose energy. And the first one here is delusion. And it means that you might have a picture in your mind of something. It might be like a dreadful picture, which is not based on facts, on truth. It's something which you, play in your mind. For example, that you will lose the house. And this is something many people might recognize. At least I did a lot of time, like 2 years ago, when it was economically also challenging and I have this big family. But it's not based on fact. It could be something. So what could be a delusion? And if not aware now, then I would invite you to write down the words. This is generally very good mind therapy. And then when you are at your own, to write all kinds of phrases, words, or symbols that come to your mind with the word delusion. Same with proud, shame, unfulfilled, and disaffiliation. But does there something come to mind with delusion? What's the first thing that might come to mind?
Yeah, I would have the same thing. An economic challenge, and maybe, maybe we lose the house, or bailiffs turn up and take my car, or that kind of a situation.
Yeah. It's human to think this kind. We are all human and we have fears. Point is to rethink your thoughts. Like, is it true now? The case. If it's not, then it's not. And then it's good to think a helping thought. For example, hey, I'm going to see my family more. I'm going to have even more joy and fun with my business, and this will attract even more customers. And so that you become aware of the pattern. Also, it's important for you to be more proud on yourself. And this is something which not so much people dare to do, but it's very important for your self-confidence. Look at things you have achieved consciously. Yeah. For example, can you mention 1 or 2 things where you are really proud of?
Well, this podcast, attracting people like you, Daniel, to my successful podcast, over 300 episodes and nearly 1 million views now. Yeah.
Wow, that's really something to be proud of. And it's not only something to be proud of, it's really something that pride, let it go in. Let it really enjoy it. That's the only way, also, as I know, as a mentor coach, to build self-confidence is to celebrate your own successes, small or large successes. It's not about arrogance at all. It's about self-love. And you cannot have enough of self-love. Of course, arrogance is not nice, but this has nothing to do with it. Arrogance is uncertainty, insecurity of people. When you have a lot of self-confidence and self-love, you become modest, contained, balanced. So this is very important to gain more energy and also to raise your vibration. Do you know the frequency scale of David Hawkins?
Yes, right. Jesus is 1,000, and we're all somewhere between 0 and Jesus.
Yeah, it's like this scale where the lowest frequency, he has tested this with muscle tests.
Yeah.
Shame is a very low frequency. And so it depletes a lot of energy. And then you have guilt, apathy, grief, fear is also very detrimental for your energy. Desire, anger, pride. Courage is the tipping point. Then neutrality. And then the frequency becomes higher. Willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace. And the highest one is enlightenment, contentment. And of course, it's something which is unconscious generally. And so you could investigate in yourself, is there, what in my life am I possibly ashamed of? Is it that I don't see my kids enough? Is it this? Is it that? I'm just giving some examples. And you don't have to answer it right now, but it's something you might investigate and then transform that shame.
Yes.
And then there's a part of you, this could be one of the life dimensions, which is unfulfilled. And it's also the pancreas is very sensitive to that because the pancreas is the sweetness of life. Of course, it's also the insulin, sugar is sweetness. And sweetness comes from being fulfilled. So my question to you, again, you don't have to answer it right now unless you know it, is what area of your life could there be more fulfillment?
Yeah, definitely my main relationship. I mean, we've got great kids. We invest a lot of time in our kids. Could we be investing? Could I be investing more in that relationship and be experiencing more fulfillment from it? For sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good entry point, I think, and to make it actionable. So what can I do practically? Have dinner with my wife.
Nights or this sort of, investment in the relationship for sure.
Yeah. For example, I invest at least one hotel night a month with my wife. And then we go out, have dinner, have great conversations. And it's really real big fun. And so this is just an example, and everybody should design it in their own way. So what do you want in your relationship? How does a nice relationship for you feel? And how does it give energy to the both of you? All right, so that's the pancreas. So I will, to make it not too extended, slowly work to an end. Two more things which might be kind of attention point is a little bit the gallbladder. So let's see what's happening there. I will also, one sec, I have to go to the pancreas because I also want to see here in the psycho-emotional databases, more extended ones. Yeah, this could be a very important point. So there might be a program, let's say an imprint in your system, which says I am not entitled to take up room in this world. As you said, that it's your business. You want a queue in your business, or maybe your podcast going to the next level. That
both.
means
both.
Yeah. Somewhere in your system, there is, and this could be from your parents or from teachers or preachers or whatever, but it's kind of an imprint which you might transform. And you are fully entitled to take up room in this world. And with taking up room in this world, I mean like a lot of views in your podcast, a lot of clients in the queue, because you are entitled to. And it's important, for example, to visualize it or to make an affirmation. I will put this in your report, and also look what could be an affirmation to help you with that. So we calculate also the affirmations here.
Wow. So this gives you personalized affirmation. So let's just pause for a second. This system gives you a personalized affirmation to improve your life based on the energy it's picked up in your biofield through a remote connection with my biofield with you in Spain and a bunch. I mean, this, when you just step back for a moment, this is really extraordinary technology.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm so enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
So what is important for you as an affirmation is, I bring back joy in the center of my heart. I show love to everyone, to my kids, to my wife, to my colleagues. Joy, joy, joy is your mantra. So do things which give you joy. And this will raise your frequency very, very quickly. And your pancreas will really be grateful for it. So I'll put this also in there. Let me look if there are some Dr. Rife frequencies which I can send to you as well before we get to balance everything. Individual signatures. Not here. Let's see the whole system. No, there's not really something which is to be advised. We can make audio files from Dr. Rife. Only one here might be inflammation, which might be interesting. So I will make that for you, because inflammation also costs a lot of energy, inflammation processes in the body. It has to do with the food. I think also when you take on the food list, the inflammation will diminish. But I also will make an audio file, which will speed things up. These are frequencies developed by Dr. Rife. He has done 20 years of research. If you listen to this audio file one time a day, and for example, you combine it with this body corpse pose, then it works double. I will send it to you for about 1 month, one time a day. It's about 10 minutes of audio. And then you have here...
Thank you. I just want to emphasize just how sophisticated this is. So from one scan, you're giving me personalized nutritional advice. You're giving me personalized affirmations. You're giving me pointers in terms of working on energy, emotional blocks, and where I might be stuck in that regard. I'm getting personalized audio files to play. I mean, this feels at some level like I've entered another dimension in terms of well-being. I mean, this would be like, what, 5, 6 different therapists I might need to go and speak to?
Yeah.
I'm getting it all from you. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's correct. And there's actually much more, but I want to keep it short. For example, this is the Professor Garyayev I was telling you about. And there's, for example, the anti-aging matrix. And these two I will also make for you, audio files, which will recover your system very quickly. And here's just the Nobel Prize nominee I've been talking about in the introduction. So I'll send you 3 audio files, 1 from Dr. Rife and 2 from anti-aging from Professor Garyayev.
This is like Tony Robbins, a nutritionalist, a sound healer. What else? Like a therapist, like all in one consultation.
Yeah, that is a complete holistic approach. Absolutely. And 2 more small things. For example, homeopathics. And we can also see what kind of homeopathics remedies would be beneficial for you. And I don't know if you know the Bach flower remedies.
No.
These are developed by Dr. Bach, made from literally flowers. And for you, for your pancreas, it's advised the clematis. You can order them online if you want, or Holland Barrett has them Yeah. So this,
Tomatoes,
Dr. Bach, you are a daydreamer, often out of touch with reality. That is not bad at all, because daydreaming, I think, but if you're on certain areas in your life, you do it too much, it would be good to and get this clematis, which gets you your materialization. So that ideas you have, for example, to have a queue in your business, gets materialized. And so that you really bring the dreams to realization by make it fully 100% actionable with the right focus, as we saw in the beginning.
Yeah,
this is your main entry point.
Yes, I might be a dreamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I will do now, finally, if you want, then we do a boosting with smart balancing. And that means that you get the right healthy benchmark frequencies of the organs. And this will give you a lot of energy. Of course, it's like a symptom treatment, but it gives really, like, for 1 or 2 weeks, it helps you in your entire process.
Right.
Do you want me to do that?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Then I go here first in the stomach, where we went into this deeper level. And I go to even to the ultrastructure level. And of course, then I will balance you on a very deep DNA level. We go into the stomach here. This is the nucleus, the DNA. And now I will do smart balancing. And then you see the curves gets much better in balance.
Wow.
And then I will work from the DNA level up. Also, here you see all the different anatomical structures. These ones are very important. It's the mitochondria. This is where your energy is produced. And you see there, we see red above blue. This is where kind of a little bit of the fatigue comes from in the stomach of not eating the proper foods. For example, the yogurt and the salmon. So we have to balance those mitochondria and go even deeper here. This is a very important balancing point. This is the ATP system where the energy is produced. So let's balance those. And then we can also see what's the improvement. Now you see 17% improvement, which is on the ATP level very high.
Wow.
Then we do the entire mitochondria, and you see the balancing of the curve, which is actually most important.
Wow.
And here we see a 44% improvement. So that means you will really experience high energy the coming days. And if you adjust your nutrition, it will even improve. Then we do the whole prismatic epithelium. %89 improvement. Then this, so I work from the depth from the deepest layer up to the surface. And then finally, we do the whole stomach level.
And Daniel, how long did it take you to train in all of this?
Well, actually, I do educate ConsciouzScan coaches. So because I really want to contribute to global health and well-being. So the training itself is hybrid. So it's part like almost 25 hours. It's with video training. And then we have 7 evenings of, let's say, from 5 to 8, from 3 hours, where we do live scans with each other, with the coaches online. And then we have peer-to-peer coaching in coaching pods, where you practice, let's say, with 2 other coaches without a teacher on yourself. And then you have a theory exam, a practical exam, and an individual feedback session, where you do a live session with somebody and the trainer looks along and gives you tips. And so in like 2 to 3 months, you will be a certified coach. But what we do find important is that you also learn some basic anatomy and physiology. For example, in the Netherlands, you have medical basic knowledge on HBO level. This is, every country has some kind of basic course in that. And because you see how deep we can go into the body. And then, of course, we find it important that you don't have to be a doctor. You can just be a normal, most of us coach, for example, mentor coaches or business coaches or vitality coaches or life coaches. but then they take as added on to learning to be a conscious coach, they also do a basic course, anatomy and physiology. It's part of the certification that you can show it to us.
Okay.
You understand? Because quality, of course, is very important to deliver a good quality session.
Yes.
So this is how this is the perfect frequency of a stomach now.
Wow.
And you see the improvement.
89% improvement, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really high score. With the pancreas, do it on the total organ level now. And then I will also give you a mental boost. It's also for people who are in business, very good. I do it with myself like 2-3 times a month as indicated.
Hey!
Appetite. And so you have a 66%. Everything which blinks now is improved in the brain. And for example, when I go deep here and do this stress point, I can go into the neurosheets. And you see there's some stress in the neurosheets, the brain cells, and I go into the neurosheet and I balance it on the deeper level here. Also on the DNA level.
Okay. Now, there probably aren't going to be many skeptics left who've got to this stage in the presentation. But if we are carrying a few who are saying, okay, this is all hocus pocus, it's just this, it's just this Dutch guy playing video games. None of this is real.
Yeah.
Like, what is out there in terms of rigorous research that proves the efficacy of this?
Yeah, I will come to that in a minute. I'll finish off your scan. So just make your report. Yeah. And so we did the balancing now. And just so that I have sure that your report is covered so I can send it to you.
Brilliant.
All right, so I will come back to here. And then, yeah. So I see you again. Sorry for that. So I had to finish off your report. So what was your question?
Yeah, so the obviously you've got anecdotal evidence. You've had this fantastic success with example with the football teams you mentioned. Yeah, but for the skeptics out there who are just saying this is all hocus pocus, it's just placebo. What's your response to the skeptics?
Well, the first point of the placebo is very interesting because you have the same system for horses.
Right.
And where you have all the organs of horse, we also have it for dogs. And when I don't work with horses, but in Germany, those specialists who work, for example, with running horses and stuff, they make remedies for the horses. I can tell you one thing, a horse doesn't know he gets a remedy.
Yeah.
So a placebo doesn't work for a horse. And they really have such a great success with healing horses. And also with giving the proper nutrition, for example. Or when a horse has certain kind of disease, it's huge because the inventor of this technology in Germany, when it came from Soviet, he was a great horse lover. And he wanted to apply the same technology on horses. And of course, for humans, everything you do has a placebo effect, including this, of course. Everything you do, if you think it works, will contribute to it working. But as explained just with the horses, it's a minor part. I think the most difficult part is how can you make a scan on distance? And with the hair or a piece of nail, it might be more comprehensible. If I have some physical substance in here, with a photo, I understand it becomes more vague. And Einstein called that a spooky effect on a distance. And that's quantum physics. And it means if two parts have been ever connected, the distance doesn't matter in quantum physics. And it could be a photo or hair or whatever. So it's connected with your bioenergy field, and then distance becomes irrelevant. That's the second quantum physics principle, is non-locality. non-local. The distance doesn't matter at all. But of course, I'm also very critical. I've been researching very deep in this technology and testing it extensively. Yeah, I'm an academic in the end. All right, I'm a business economist, but still an academic with an academic mind. And I'm also very critical. But I do have an open mind. And that's important. I think you also have a very open mind. That's what we call the growth mindset. I think this technology in this stage is only for two groups of people, to be honest. That's all my clients. Do you know the adoption curve of Mr. Rogers?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm familiar with adoption curves per se. Maybe not that specific
When
one,
you
but
have in marketing, you have the adoption curve.
Yeah.
I've studied marketing. I've at one day even won the Professor Koolmeyer Year Prize of the Marketing of the Erasmus University, which is totally outdated with the marketing knowledge from now. So I don't have anything on it right now. But why am I saying it? There I learned this adoption curve. That means when there's a new product on the market, you first have the innovators. Those are the first ones to try it on. And it's only 3%. Like, for example, the head coach of PSV was an innovator. The CEO of PSV, the football club, was an innovator. Same with AZ. Same with my client from Accenture and PwC and Philips and ASML and Microsoft. All these big corporations who work with this only do that because their well-being manager or their vitality manager or the manager of the department is an innovator.
Yeah.
Because he has to win his debate with the skeptics, which are the laggards.
Yes.
And then the second group is also are the early adopters. It's about 10 to 12%. Then you have the early majority. Yeah, they buy a new iPhone or when there's a new phone on the market reasonably fast. Then you have the late majority, and then you have the laggards. And when everybody has an iPhone, it must be something. Then they will. That's not my audience.
Yes.
My audience, and I just want to be very fair with that. If you are too skeptical about this, no problem. I understand it. It's quantum physics. If your rational mind cannot grasp it, don't do it. Very simple. Use another traditional linear approach. If it helps you, don't do this. It's really accurate. I've seen it in 20 years, but a part of your mind must grasp it a little bit. So that's why I only attract the innovators and the early adopters. So if you as a viewer or listener are one of those, then I think it might be very beneficial for you. Of course, it's also beneficial for laggards if they're open to it. It's beneficial for, I think, for every human. But they will not be attracted as fast as those innovators or early adopters.
Yeah. So it sounds to me you're not going out there trying to win people over with peer-reviewed journal articles. It's more like you're
it's very I want to explain it. This is with this technology extremely difficult because it comes from after the US from Russia, and the main knowledge is still somewhere in the Kremlin. So there's huge data sets and nobody has them. It's really frustrating also for me. Because it would be much easier. So we are building our own evidence base, like with results. But it's all science, epigenetics, quantum physics. It's like a huge scientific database is used for this. If we would have those data sets, it would make life much easier. But again, we don't have it. And lots of this part of this technology is still secret in Russia, for example. And now the Germans also try to make it more evidence-based, of course. And we do it in the companies and we actually look at results. For example, when you do a life scan journey, a mental scan journey of 5 sessions of one, we see on average 40% stress reduction, energy raise. So that's for me the bottom line. Does it work? Do my clients of all these top corporates where I work, do they see, for example, with PwC, we do a 100-day Be Well, Work Well challenge. We start off with a body mind scan. Then we do an online 3 vitality workshops, an online study. And then at the end of the 100 days, we do a last measurement with a body mind scan. And it's amazing to see the improvements they are making. And we also do 2-time boost with the technology. And when you do a whole life scan journey or a mental scan journey, then you do 5 sessions of 1 hour in about 3 weeks with 2 weeks in between. And this is very interesting because then the client, because we can measure so deeply, can see the progress on the deepest level in the numbers. To measure is to know, as we say. And then it's the evidence base that we on average have a 40% stress reduction. And so the science base is still very hard. So that's why we choose the evidence base line.
Yeah.
Not because the science is not there, but we don't have it, which is again quite frustrating.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're starting to build the evidence base, and you're
sure,
attracting the early adopters.
Yeah. And as Cole in Germany, already 600 regular doctors do work with this technology. I think in 10 years' time, almost 80% of all healing will be with light, sound, color, frequencies. This will be, I think, I think that the allopathy, which is now the main thing,
treating symptoms.
Will be slowly but steadily substituted or complemented with other methods.
Yeah. I saw a stat about how there were more appointments booked with alternative therapists in general than regular doctors in the States. Like there was a tipping point crossed a few years back.
Oh, yeah?
Which I thought was an interesting stat.
Good news. Yeah. That's great news.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been incredible, Daniel. It really has been incredible. I mean, I've known about the power of this way of working, but it's for me. You're working right at the frontier, and it's really powerful. And you've explained it so well. And I'm feeling great right now.
Excellent.
So I'm going to take that as a fantastic sign that something shifted in me. I'm so grateful for you spending all of this time. I can't wait to look into the reports that you sent through to me. So yeah, I'm so grateful you come on. So we must let people know. So yeah, how can they find you? Whether they're interested in becoming a coach, just receiving a scan. Where do you send them?
Yeah, I think in the show notes, I can put 2 links. One of them is that for your viewers of the Being Human podcast, I want to offer a 15% discount on the Body and Mind Scan. They can just use in capitals Being Human as a discount code. So I will put it in the show notes. Then if they're interested, they can just on that page order the Body Mind Scan via Calendly. It goes all automatic. We can arrange a session. And the second one, if there are like life coaches, mental coaches, well-being coaches, holistic doctors, naturopaths who also want to be educated and trained as a licensed ConsciouzScan coach on the 8th of April. And there's a free webinar of 1 hour where you can subscribe for. And I will also put that link in the show notes. And I'll repeat that like every 2 to 3 months, this free webinar where you get all the information about the education to become a licensed ConsciouzScan coach.
Brilliant. Well, we'll put those links in the show notes. Fantastic. Well, Daniel, again, so grateful. Fantastic session. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for demonstrating this extraordinary technology. And
You're very welcome.
I'm going to be rushing out buying my dried cranberries, saying my affirmations. I'm entitled to take room in this world.
Exactly.
And all the rest of it. I felt like I'm blessed that you agreed to come on here. And the other exercises, delusion, pride, shame, all of that trapped in my pancreas, that really resonates. So yeah, it's just so rich. Like I say, this is the kind of experience you might get independently from 4 or 5 different practitioners, but to get it all together in one, it's extraordinary.
Thanks. Thank you very much for your open mind, Richard, and your really enthusiastic energy, which is so really great to experience.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm on a mission with this podcast, to improve well-being in the world, to have extraordinary leadership happen in the world. And I often say leadership is downstream of physiology. Like our state determines how effective and how caring and how loving and we can be as leaders. And so working on ourselves in this way is just so important. So I'm so encouraged you're working with top level leaders in what you're doing. That's fantastic. Good.
Great.
Okay. Well, thanks again. And I'll end it here and say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.